Hello, God bless, Lee Rice here. I'm sitting here in Agrigento as a writer of Attend to Do 8 songs, 82 songs on this street. And it's Friday. There's been hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people walking through the city. I'm saying this in the calmest possible way. I sat here with Alex from Ukraine too while he was playing his own songs. He sat here for approximately 30 minutes. So in the last 6 hours, this is the grand total that the adult society haven't given. This came from a child with his mother, with a huge smile on her face, a child that I know. So I make these videos to try and let other people know the insanity of what the adult society have become in the calmest possible way. Regardless of what I say, regardless of what I play, 99% of the adult society are going to walk past anyway. I'll wait for the noisy car to come past, van. Going back through the story of more than 1 year in Agrigento for some clarity. Regardless of what Lucas, the harp player, had to play while standing next to Andrea, approximately 1 year ago from now, 99% of the adult society will walk past a harp player too. Tony the maestro, guitarist from here, comes to join me quite often and sits next to me, a guitarist of 51 years. 99% of the adults are going to walk past that too without an offer of a piece of bread or even degli, centesimi. So they do that for a writer. I'm just giving 3 examples, there's many more. They'll do that for a writer of 82 songs on this street. Zero empathy, zero compassion whatsoever. They'll do exactly the same for a guitarist. They'll do exactly the same for a harp player. And pretty much every artist I've met in my entire journey of 12 years. I've sat with homeless brothers and sisters too. I've made many friends who are homeless and beggars and watched exactly the same results for many years. And this is what they do. Ciao, nice to see you.
Ciao, nice to see you.
This is what they do in the point of contact while they're walking past writers, artists, poets, musicians and homeless brothers and sisters. I've watched and logged it very, very, very clearly for many years. They'll check the ground, they'll look down at the ground, even if they're not in their screens, or they'll take their screens out in the point of contact. They like to do this too and check the time while walking past. Just wait for the noise to go. One second. So I go back to the examples of exactly what the adult society do and what they've been doing for at least 3,000 days from my own observations. I'm sitting here now as an artist, whatever the artist might be, an artist painting, an artist drawing. I've watched and logged it for artists too, very, very clearly. So they'll check their screen. They'll check their screen, they take their screens out directly in front of writers, artists, poets, musicians in the point of contact. Or they'll check the ground, look down, their eyes specifically over and over and over again in the point of contact with music and art, go straight down to the ground. Or they'll do this, check the time. If they're not doing those 3, you can clearly see that this is a reflection, a mirror. It's doors, glass, but it's a reflection. And through the entire city of Agrigento, whichever direction you look, in all directions, there's plenty of reflections like this. So then, if they're not doing what I just said, those 3 items, checking the time, checking their screens, or looking at the ground, they can be quite often looking at themselves in the mirror directly behind the writer, artist, poet, musician. I logged and documented that very, very, very clearly, sitting opposite the tribute of Andrea Camilleri while Lucas, the harp player, was playing last year. Incredible artist, absolutely remarkable. While I sat opposite him, some were walking past, checking their own riflessiones directly behind my position. And they just continue. And they've been just continuing for thousands of days. I watched society for 12 years through 32 lands from the north of Norway to the south of Turkey. And what I'm witnessing is exactly this. Positives too. I know lots of people in Agrigento. I've got many friends. And as it stands, I'm ready to leave. because of the total rejection of music and art by the moving adult society. I could offer blood. I could literally cut. I'm saying this in the calmest possible way. The chances of an adult moving through this city or any city for many years with any time whatsoever for music or art, 1 in 100. 1 in 100. I've logged it in Geneva more than 2 years ago with permission from homeless ladies. Maybe they were homeless, maybe they weren't. They were begging in freezing cold conditions, March 2022. I'll just speak about the second lady. I sat opposite, shaking, trying to stay cold. I asked permission to film at the start of 1 single hour, and the permission was given. She said, okay. So I sat there with a little tick chart, a book, making 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. So I counted very, very clearly, 280 adults walked past. One mother and father with a child gave her a sandwich. Approximately 150 of those, it was around 50%, were in their screens at the time of approach. The lady sitting outside with blankets covered all over herself on a freezing March day in Geneva. One guy gave me 100 francs, so my kind of few days in advance was covered while I was playing. But I wanted to document that. In the last day I didn't walk. I walked backwards through the city, trying to let other people know about the insanity of what they've become. Sleeping through life, stuck in this. I'm using it now, in a wise way. I've just sat here playing games. I'm stopped, nothing wrong with that. I use it to contact friends and family. I played here for 3 weeks just to try and raise enough for a SIM card. And it is ultimately, what I'm saying in this video and all of the other ones I've shared, it is ultimately not about the money. Look at this. My guitar case is closed. No hat. It's their choice if they want to stop or not. I've been writing for 25 years. I'm sharing the truth within my text, clearly defending the children, their children and grandchildren, and clearly standing with the other creatures too. I'm only one piece of the puzzle for what I'm saying now. I'm trying to let as many know as possible what the adult society have become. Just empty. Completely empty. I'm not exaggerating. From this distance away, regardless of whether it's a writer, guitarist, harp player, whoever the musician, artist, painting. In Arles, I give another example. I sat on the other side of the canvas watching a remarkably talented artist painting, drawing and painting. If 1 in 100 crossing the square of Arles, where I wrote 28 songs, will come and even check what the artist is painting on the other side of the canvas, that's a miracle too. They just keep on going exactly like this. Which is exactly, funny enough, what John Lennon said in Watching the Wheels. They just continue. They fiercely reject music and art, fiercely, from 1 single metre away. I'll repeat what I've said in other videos too. They do exactly this. They're walking past, eyes to the ground. That's if they're not in their screens. If they're in their screens, obviously, needless to say, they're already in the ground. I'm witnessing, just while I'm making this video now, that's exactly what's taking place on the other side of the camera. They're walking past, eyes to the ground. Walking past, eyes to the ground. Whether they're in their screens or not, it's just insane. Luckily, on a positive note to finish the video before it becomes too long, luckily, that's not the case for the Children's Society at all. And it's not the case for the Teenager Society at all. I know nearly all of the teenagers of Agrigento and the children too. Maybe not by names, but they know me, I know them. And the children somehow are okay. They notice the music, they notice the art. The teenagers of Agrigento know all about the zombie apocalypse. They're coming up to me going, zombies, zombies. It is specifically the adult society with the problem. It's just insanity to watch what the adult society have become. I know a lot of good ones here. I just finished the video on some positives too. And funny enough, they're the ones who are in reality. It's that simple. I can walk to a bar here, take a cafe. I take a cafe for free every day. When I don't get any money, like what's just happened right now, I can walk to the very same bar, ask one of my friends for a beer for free, and they say yes every time. It'd be really hard for me to leave after all I've done and all I've dedicated to their society. I see a significant improvement. But then I can sit here on a Friday with Alex from Ukraine and get 20 centesimi as a writer of 82 songs. So if that's how they treat a writer, in the city attributed to the writer, what would they stop for? Well, I'm trying to let you know from my own observations, they wouldn't stop for anything at all. A homeless brother or sister in need, a cello player, a pianist, an opera singer, a violin player, or any type of music or art whatsoever. And the reason for that, again, in the calmest possible way, they move through life with one singular focus. Me. Io. Me. 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 My screen and me. My screen and me. My screen and me. My screen and me. Till the end of time lapse. From my own observations, I rewind to back what I said before. This condition of insanity, which is what they suffer with, has taken place for at least 3,000 days. I wrote Zombies Don't Feel Pain, 9 anni ago, and I saw very clearly where society were going, and so did the psychologist. Documentary, What About Me, YouTube, where they clearly describe what's going wrong with society, and society continued to move through the cities, getting worse and worse every year, with the ability to hear, feel, and see one single thing only. This, and nothing else at all. That is the biggest problem. That's not the only problem. A lot of the adults without their screens are like that too. Just staring at the ground, staring at the ground, staring at the ground, completely void of human emotion from 1 single meter away. I give a couple more examples before the video gets too long. I've been saying, my Italian's not perfect, Dio aiuti bambini. Dio aiuti bambini. More than a couple of thousand times on this one street, which is God help the children in Italian. I've said that thousands of times by now through the city, and they reject that in their own language, ma solo sono tre parole, from 1 single meter away. I've been saying it for years in English too. God help the children, if only you could see like they do. And they reject that even if they're English speakers too, from 1 single meter away. And the vast majority were rejecting the truth, while I'm using a Bluetooth speaker too, sharing the truth for the greatest artist of all time. The vast majority will reject the truth from this distance away. The reason they're rejecting the truth, they can't hear the truth, they can't see the truth, they don't feel the truth, and they can't read the truth either from 1 single meter away. They're consumed with themselves. They're consumed with their screens, and that's it, nothing else at all. They move through the cities telling their friends and family they're actually in the city. And I can confirm this is the 1,000,000% honest truth. They're not actually here at all. God bless.